Now, here's today's front page for Monday, September 18th, 2023. Out of Texas, the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has been acquitted on all impeachment accounts. This happened over the weekend. The Texas Senate Saturday acquitted Attorney General Ken Paxton of 16 articles of impeachment alleging corruption and bribery, this being reported by the Texas Tribune. No article received more than 14 of the required 21 votes to convict. Only 2 of the 19 Republican senators, Bob Nichols of Jacksonville, Kelly Hancock of North Richland Hills, voted in favor of convicting for any article, a stark contrast to the more than 70% of House Republicans who impeached the Attorney General in May. Paxton, who attended just 2 days of the trial, was not present to witness his exoneration, said, quote, "The sham impeachment coordinated by the Biden administration with liberal House Speaker Dade Phelan and his kangaroo court has cost taxpayers millions of dollars, disrupted the work of the Office of Attorney General, and left a dark and permanent stain on the Texas House of Representatives." Paxton said that in addition to the weaponization of the impeachment process to settle political differences is not only wrong, it is immoral and corrupt. Also reported by the Texas Tribune, hours after his acquittal in the Texas Senate, Attorney General Ken Paxton supporters doubled down on their promises for swift retribution against fellow Republicans who supported the removal of the Attorney General from office. In particularly, they cast House Speaker Dade Phelan as the ringleader responsible for the impeachment process, calling on him to resign immediately. Paxton's impeachment trial was the latest and among the most consequential battle in what is being called an ongoing civil war between the Texas GOP establishment members and a well-funded right wing that has for years claimed the party is insufficiently conservative. Party conservatives have often accused members, specifically in the Texas House of Representatives, of partnering with Democrats to undermine conservative priorities in the state. Nationally, there has been an arrest made in the L.A. Sheriff's Department murder of Deputy Ryan Clinkunbroomer. This from Fox News. An arrest has been made in the shooting death of Los Angeles Sheriff's Deputy Ryan Clinkunbroomer, as sources close to the investigation told Fox News today. Sources close to Fox News said a suspect was identified yesterday following a tip. The Sheriff's Department Special Enforcement Bureau tactical team then went to a home in Palmdale, where the shooting of Clinkunbroomer happened on Saturday, and made contact with a relative of the suspect who provided specific details about the case. The male suspect inside the home was taken into custody without incident after tear gas, was deployed at the property, according to sources. Clinkunbroomer was shot Saturday, September 16th, while in his patrol vehicle at an intersection in Palmdale, and later succumbed to his injuries, according to authorities. Clinkunbroomer was an 18-year veteran of the LASD, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, who served the Palmdale and Antelope Valley communities with, quote, absolute distinction, unquote. This from Sheriff Robert Luna during a news conference on Saturday night. Presidential son Hunter Biden will be subpoenaed by House committees. This from USA Today. A House impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden is underway. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the Republican from California, said House Republicans will now subpoena the president's son Hunter, but it's just a matter of timing. McCarthy opened the inquiry last week, calling it a logical next step in House Republicans' investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings. Joe Biden, they allege, personally benefited from Hunter Biden's overseas dealings. While the investigations have produced evidence that Hunter Biden and business associates made millions from foreign business deals, House Republicans have yet to produce substantial evidence showing the president financially benefited from his son's business affairs. For his part, according to Fox News, Hunter Biden is now suing the U.S. government. Hunter Biden's attorneys filed a lawsuit against the IRS this morning, alleging that agents have targeted and sought to embarrass the president's son. Biden's Monday morning filing cites 2 major examples in IRS agents Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler, 2 whistleblowers, who claimed the IRS mishandled aspects of its investigation into Biden. Biden's lawsuit seeks the court to declare the IRS, quote, willfully, knowingly, and or by gross negligence, unlawfully disclosed Mr. Biden's confidential tax information, unquote. In addition, Biden is demanding $1,000 in damages for each and every unauthorized disclosure of his tax returns, including disclosures that happened after the fact. Fox News Digital reached out to the IRS for comment. They did not immediately respond. Shapley's legal team did. They responded to Biden's lawsuit in a statement this morning, dismissing the move as a stalling tactic. Former President Donald Trump has appeared on NBC's Meet the Press. This from NBC News. A defiant former President Donald Trump sparred with new Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker this week from his Bedminster, New Jersey estate. They battled over an array of legal issues, his role in the January 6th attack, and the 2020 election. On the abortion issue, Trump said members of his own party speak very inarticulately about abortion and criticize those who push for abortion bans without exceptions in case of rape and incest and to protect the health of the mother. I watched some of them without the exceptions, etc., he said. I said, other than certain parts of the country, you can't. You're not going to win on this issue, unquote. Despite facing 4 trials, Trump told Welker he is not consumed with visions of prison. I don't even think about it, said Trump. Quote, I'm built a little differently, I guess, because I have had the people come up to me and say, how do you do it, sir? How do you do it? I don't even think about it, unquote. One of Welker's questions centered on whether Trump still believes in democracy as the most effective form of government. Trump said, quote, I do, but it has to be a democracy that's fair. This democracy, I don't consider us to have much of a democracy right now, unquote. Trump faced a series of questions over a comment he made earlier this year, telling a supportive crowd, quote, I am your retribution, unquote. Asked what it meant, Trump talked of having to protect people, adding that he views the prison sentences given to some January 6th rioters as unfair when compared with punishments given to those who participated in racial justice protests during the summer of 2020. When I talk about retribution, I'm talking about fairness, he said. We have to treat people fairly. USA Today is reporting that cases from 3 men involved in the January 6th attack have reached the Supreme Court. 3 men involved in the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol are now asking the Supreme Court to wipe out part of their indictment and possibly an extra 20 years in prison in the first criminal cases involving the 2021 insurrection into the nation's highest court. This reported by USA Today. If the justices agree to hear the appeals, the decisions could ultimately affect part of a federal indictment lodged against former President Donald Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, as well as hundreds of others charged in the deadly riot that unfolded across the street from the Supreme Court more than 2 years ago. Edward Lang, Joseph Fisher, and Garrett Miller claim prosecutors overstepped their authority by charging them with a federal prohibition on obstructing, quote, official proceedings, unquote. More than 200 people have been charged with violating that same obstruction law in connection with the January 6th insurrection. This according to the Justice Department. Trump is facing that charge as part of the grand jury indictment handed up last month following an investigation by special counsel Jack Smith. A ruling from the Supreme Court in favor of the defendants would undermine how those charges in other cases, including Trump's, are handled by the federal courts. In international news this morning, this from Fox, robots run by artificial intelligence have the potential to attack the United Kingdom's National Health Service and cause disruption on a scale of the COVID-19 pandemic. This according to a cybersecurity expert, Ian Hogarth, who works with the UK's AI task force that was formed to help protect against the risks of AI, said the growing technology is capable of an attack that could cripple the country's National Health Service, the NHS, or even carry out a biological attack, according to a report in the London Daily Star. Hogarth noted that AI technology continues to improve at a rapid pace, something he warned would lower barriers to, quote, perpetrating some kind of cyber attack or cyber crime, unquote. The AI expert pointed to the WannaCry cyber attack on NHS in 2017 that led to the cancellation of 19,000 patient appointments and cost the nation's health service £92 million or $114 million, arguing the rapid advancement of AI technology could make such attacks easier. Out of the Ukraine, drone attacks on Moscow have shut down airports there. This from USA Today. A drone attack temporarily shut down 3 Moscow area airports. This happened over the weekend as Ukraine pressed its effort to give Muscovites a grim taste of war that has battered Ukraine since Russia's invasion that began almost 19 months ago. Two of the airports halted air traffic for several hours before reporting all activities had been returned to normal at 8:30 a.m. local time, according to Russian state media. Another airport halted air traffic for about an hour. Dozens of flights were canceled or delayed. Similar incidents a day earlier also briefly disrupted airport traffic, according to the news agency TASS. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said earlier Sunday that air defenses shot down drones in Moscow's Istria district, about 25 miles west of downtown Moscow, and in the Ramensky district. No casualties or severe damage were reported from any of the incidents. Elsewhere in aviation news, an F-35 crashes. Authorities are asking for public help to help find the wreckage. This from USA Today. Military officials are asking for the public's help to locate a missing aircraft involved in a mishap off the coast of South Carolina, this on Sunday, after a Marine Corps pilot safely ejected from the fighter jet. The pilot ejected, parachuted safely into a North Charleston, South Carolina neighborhood at about 2 p.m. He was taken to a local hospital where he was reported to be in stable condition. The pilot's name has not been released. Joint Base Charleston asked for anyone with, quote, information that may help our recovery teams locate the F-35, unquote, to call the Base Defense Operations Center in a post on X. A South Carolina Law Enforcement Division helicopter joined the search for the F-35 after some bad weather cleared in the area. Senior Master Sergeant Heather Stanton of Joint Base Charleston said in a statement. Authorities did not say what caused the mishap and said more information would be provided at a later time. This from the Reno Gazette-Journal. 2 pilots were killed during the Reno Air Races, the event's final year. The Reno Air Racing Association announced that pilots Chris Rushing and Nick Macy were killed around 2:15 p.m. when their T6 class planes collided during landing operations. The race had finished. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Rushing was the defending champion in the race and placed first. Macy placed second. Both pilots were from California. Quote, I'm completely devastated and heartbroken today. This, according to Fred Telling, chairman of the Reno Air Racing Association and president of the T6 racing class. These 2 pilots weren't just an integral part of the National Championship Air Race family. My heart goes out to their families and to all the spectators and fans who have so enthusiastically supported us this week. Following a decision of the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority, this year will be the last year for the National Championship Air Races at the Reno Stead Airport. The event started in 1964. The Reno Air Racing Association, which organizes the event, has announced we are committed to finding a new location so that the event can continue. According to the association, at least 6 communities so far have filed to host the 2025 championship. And finally today, in technological news, Apple has announced an iOS update for your iPhone and your iPad. This from USA Today. After opening the pre-order for the iPhone 15 last Friday, the iOS 17 is the latest in the release pipeline coming off of the Wonderlost event. The new operating system wasn't mentioned in the video presentation. Details were released later that same day. The update for the operating system will include additions and improvements across Apple's flagship products, as well as the AirPod. FaceTime users will now be able to leave video messages if the person they're calling does not pick up. The messages will function similarly to a voicemail, and callers will be able to access them and all the assorted video effects that completed a FaceTime call if it was made. Users will also be able to program iOS 17 to automatically silence FaceTime calls from non-contacts. The operating system will add new options for the check-in feature. For those who use iPhones as an actual phone, the phone app has added capabilities to create new visuals to alert a person for a call from a contact. The autocorrect and predictive text features will also be improved in this update. And that is the front page.